Hello there, everybody. Welcome on in for the rest of episode 3 for our Alan Wake replay. Hello. Oh, by the way, Darkanoid, welcome in. I did see your comment that you finally managed to catch us live, so welcome to our madhouse over here. Whoa, and I think the cat might have just stepped on something. Give me a second. She did. The cat literally just said, hit the start button. Zoe, what are you doing? I wasn't ready to hit start game just yet. Good job, girl. I guess Zoe's just really eager to get the ball rolling. Oh, boy. Sorry about that. So, yes, before we get going, if you're just finding this for the first time, the point of this series is to go through all the lore, not just the game itself, in preparation for me writing a full video on it. So that means we're not going to be just doing a standard run-through. We're going to be pausing all the time, running over to check out the survival guide, the Alan Wake files, the comic books, and so on and so forth. Where we ended off, we had just finished the first night with Agent Nightingale tracking us down like the madman he is. And now it's the following morning, and as I mentioned at the end of the last one, we're not going to be able to really start playing the game right away because we have a lot of reading to do. But let me grab my giant page of notes here, and let's do this. I still can't get over Zoe literally just as I'm talking steps off my desk onto the keyboard and just hits start the game. Let's go.
Today, I would meet the kidnapper, and he would give me Alice. I wouldn't give him any other choice. A drowning man will clutch at a straw.
Alrighty, so let me see where were we? There we go. Path to the coal mine. So before we switch over to the Alan Wake files, actually, we can talk about that later. That's not a big problem. Let's go ahead and switch over to the Alan Wake files, because at this point in time, there is a lot going on with Agent Nightingale this following morning. Because remember, they picked up Rose and Barry, everything that happened at the radio station with Pat. So he's doing a lot of stuff. So let's go ahead and flip over while I safely remove the keyboard from the cat's clutches so she doesn't pull any more tricks. Alright. Pause, switch, and let's go. Alright, so first things first, we're going to read the Day 3 Morning of for Agent Nightingale, and then there's some other stuff we're going to look at. Agent Nightingale's field notes, there we go. Can you ask me something about the start screen? Sure, Marama, go ahead. Day 2 afternoon, Day 3. Okay, there we go. I think it's Day 3. Yes, notes for Day 3. Noises last night. Some damn animals went out again. Got lost again. Goddamn trees. Can't believe how slippery some guys are. Talked to the front desk more on this morning. Didn't seem to know zip about Wake. Got real quiet when I mentioned him, in fact. Could be he just ran out of thoughts. I'm getting nothing out of these people. And then we have Clay Stewart's commentary. Nightingale's commentary on his encounters with the motel staff revealed both his growing frustration with the pace of the investigation and his distrust of the locals. His reports of strange noises at night, his confession of getting lost, again only to serve highlights his vulnerability as he tries to navigate the unfamiliar territory. Bright Falls represents a dangerous landscape to Nightingale and perhaps to any others who cross his boundary. There's a frame next to the hotline. Was it is of? Hold on. What's the question? Was it is of? Go ahead and retype that because it may have been came out wrong. All right, so let's scroll down. So basically, after Nightingale left, he did go back to the Majestic, but then the following morning, he had to do a bunch of interviews with different people, all relating to Alan. But he interviewed a lot of people, so literally we're just going to go ahead and read all of these, except for one. What is the picture frame next to the hotline of, and what is it? Oh, I think it's not a picture frame. I think that's the side portal from Psychonauts. It's the tool that Rasputin uses to enter people's minds. Actually, I can check real quick, just to make sure we're looking at the same thing. One moment. Yeah, so the thing right next to the hotline is going to be from Psychonauts. Oh, Pirate Gamer, if you haven't played Psychonauts, trust me, those games are amazing. Okay, Zoe, Zoe, lay down so I can read this. Still a shame the game never shows nearly enough of the depth of Nightingale actually has. No shit. And that's why I'm really focusing on this. And Zoe, no, don't play with the pen. She's literally knocking stuff off the desk now. I swear, cats are little scientists. They like to test gravity. All right. The following interviews of various citizens of Bright Falls were conducted by Agent Nightingale over the course of 3 or 4 days. We're just going to read them all right now, just to make it easy. Nightingale recorded each of them on a microcassette, and I've transcribed them myself. It has been a painstaking process, as the sound quality on some of them is very poor. Some of the interviews were more successful than others, yet all show a reticence to speak about the town. All are included here. However, to form a more complete picture of the characters and events, most of them present Agent Nightingale in a very poor light. And I admit I considered leaving these out altogether. I have a great deal of respect for him and believe they don't paint a complete picture of this deeply conflicted man. In the interests of honesty, I decided to include each one of them. I implore the readers to bear in mind that this man is under tremendous pressure. I believe that taken as a whole, these interviews reveal something of a tapestry of the town, and that tapestry cannot help but have an impact on the writer who is caught up in it, for better or for worse. Yes, tall man, I do plan to do that. I just haven't gotten back to Sarah regarding drawing in the door to the Velvet Room from Persona. I wanted to throw that in on the right side. Oh my god, cat, she's literally headbutting, clawing, and grooming my hand right now and will not let it go. Which is fine because we're reading. I don't need both hands at the moment. This picture was obtained from a 9-year-old Owen Kittle, an avid photographer and a civil law enforcement enthusiast. Yeah. Robert's just sitting here like, why is this kid taking photographs? I mean, he probably interprets that as spies in the town. Like, no joke, when Owen showed up to take a picture of him, he's probably thinking the kid's a spy. Which is kind of sad. Oh, you're good. You prefer a blue butterfly? I mean, the butterfly is probably less intrusive to the whole thing. And it implies something different about everything. But anyways, is there this much lore for Alan Wake 2? No, Sudoku Dragon. Unfortunately, after this game, Remedy kind of did away with the multimedia storytelling. Which I think this stuff's really cool, but most people never came across this information. Alright. Let's go ahead and scroll on down. So the first interview was with an unknown subject, but we know this is Ben Mott. No, the blue butterfly Sergeant Army is intended to be the physical representation of Philemon. At least, Break, you correct me if I'm wrong. That's always been my understanding, is that the blue butterfly is Philemon. Just looking at things. Okay, it's unclear of who the subject of this brief interview is. Agent Nightingale himself didn't appear to know. Accompanying notes indicate that he ran into the man in Elderwood National Park while trying to find Wake. Zoe, I can't see the screen. I can't see the screen. But the circumstances are unclear. The interview was conducted outdoors, and judging by the sound quality and the tone of the interview, it's likely Nightingale surreptitiously turned his tape recorder on without the man's knowledge. Yeah, P3 and P4, yes, and P5, spoiler, understood. Although the identity of the interview subject remains unclear, the townsfolk who I'm shown this photograph insist the local... Can you guys hear her literally just, like, knocking things around? A troublemaker known as Mott. Okay, I'm not going to do voices on this because trying to snap back and forth is just... It's going to ruin my throat. So, Nightingale, been in a fight? What happened? Unknown subject, so Mott. It's nothing. So I'm just going to read this back and forth, but you can read on screen which is which. You see anything weird here? How about this guy Alan Wake? He's not in his cabin. You know where he is? Have you seen him? The man laughs. Is that funny to you? You should leave this whole thing alone. You don't know what you're messing with. Is that right? And you do, huh? What's your name? What's it to you? You see this badge, buddy? I ask the questions. Government, huh? You gonna put me in the system, government man? Huh? Well, a new system's on its way. What do you think about that? I think we're gonna talk about this down at the station. You deaf? Let's go, buddy. If I still had my gun. What the hell did you just say? The sound of a scuffle. Agent Nightingale grunting loudly. Running footsteps recede. Get back here, you asshole. You're under arrest. A pause. Nightingale breathes heavily. God damn it. So if we remember, Mott did do prison time for firearms-related crimes. We don't know the specifics of what actually happened. But yeah, so he just bumped into him in the middle of Elderwood. They got into a little fight and he ran off. I presume this probably occurred the morning after episode 2 while Alan was at the trailer park. Just wondering. Alright, Paul Randolph is the manager of the Sparkling River Estates trailer park, where some kind of incident involving the police and Alan Wake took place. This sequence demonstrates Agent Nightingale's interview skills and professionalism as he manages to coax an obviously reluctant witness into cooperating with him. I can't help thinking that this is an echo of the man before the loss of his partner and the events that led to it. So yeah, this confirms that Nightingale lost his partner recently and that gave him a change in personality. Interviewing Mr. Paul Randolph, manager of the Sparkling River Estates trailer park. So the difference here is he actually notifies Randolph that he's being recorded. Anyways, I'm not sure I want to talk to you. Yeah, I've been getting that a lot around here. Tough luck. We need to sort this out. You coulda hit me. Sir, I'm a highly trained federal agent. You were in no danger. Yeah, but someone said you were drunk. Who said that? Do I seem drunk to you, huh? Guess not. These goddamn people. Okay, look, sir. I know you had a scare, and I'm sorry about that. I mean, you're the one who called the police. I know you're the good guy here. It's just that the man I'm after is a real bad news. I had to take the shot, you know. I know you were just concerned for the girl, Rose, right? He immediately distracts him. Yes, sir. Well, you know, she's not doing too good right now. And if you're going to help her, we're going to need all the information you can give us, okay? Yeah, I guess. Well, those guys were in Rose's trailer for a long time, and I thought, wait a minute, Rose isn't the kind of girl. What's that about? Because, you know, I've been in the business long enough, and some girls, they, do little business on their own. Yeah, I don't put up with that, you know. I tell them to move on. I'm no prude, but I don't want that in my place. But I knew Rose wasn't up to nothing like that, so it was weird that these guys staying in her trailer like that. And those guys were, yeah, Wake and that loudmouth in the puffy jacket. I don't know that guy, but recognized Wake right away, because Rose is always going on about him. She gave me a couple of his books to read. He's pretty good, but I read the papers too, and you know, so I know he gets into trouble a lot. And we did read some of those newspaper articles, and yeah, he gets into shit. Even as a teenager, he was getting charges. Anyway, they were in there a whole goddamn day. Nobody even came out for a smoke or nothing, because I was working outside the whole time and I would have seen them. You hear anything? Talking, arguing, any noises at all? No, sir, I wasn't that close. I mean, the way these trailers are built, I'm sure I would have heard if there was any shouting or something, sure. But there wasn't anything, and I knew she'd skipped work today too, so I got worried. I mean, it's not my business what people do in their homes, but I know Rose pretty well. And I got to thinking that maybe she's in trouble, and the way you guys showed up, I guess I was right. Huh? Uh-huh. Go on. Well, I just got a real bad feeling about the whole thing, you know, like a hunch. Like something nasty was going down in the trailer, and most likely because it was written into the story that he made the call, so therefore he got that hunch. Okay, so I called the sheriff. Well, you did the right thing, sir. Recording ends. Yeah, there's a reason Barry has lawyers on speed dial, and specifically reasons that he has certain lawyers that can get mafia dons off, so Barry has the connects. Alright, interview with Rose. Miss Marigold appears to have great difficulty focusing on the topic at hand, and it is only the persistence of Agent Nightingale managing to reach her. It's unclear what happened to her, and the identity of the woman she refers to remains unknown. I do find touching that even though Nightingale appears to be unrelenting and brusque in his interactions with people, he's clearly affected by Miss Marigold's distress. He genuinely feels her pain, and for a brief moment, he seems to put away his obsession with the case. The blank stare of Rose Marigold in her trailer following an obvious traumatic event, her repeated references to that lady and the woman in black indicate that Wake was not the perpetrator. Okay. Oh, let's do it. Grab some more water. Okay. Following is an interview with Rose Marigold, 21, an employee of Oh Dear Diner in Bright Falls. Rose. Okay. My name is Nightingale. I'm a federal agent. I need to ask you something. Okay. I hear you were seeing Rusty, is that right? The park ranger? I like Rusty. He never shouts at me. I give him free coffee at the diner. Don't tell anyone, or I think maybe they know. Everybody likes Rusty. Alright, and this is why I was mentioning during the last stream about her childhood. He never shouts at me. It makes it sound like his somebody in her household was verbally abusive. At least that's the implication I read from her comment here. Something happened at Elderwood. We can't find Rusty. Do you know anything about him? Rusty? Hey, Missy, I'm losing patience here. I need some goddamn answers. Is it day or night? Why is it dark in here? Rose, this is really important. I need to ask you about Wake. I'm his biggest fan. Yeah, I've heard. He was at Elderwood too. You know anything about what happened there? Why was he at your place? His new book. Going to be the best possible roller coaster ride. Uh-huh. What did he want with you? What happened? Am I awake? Is this a dream? You're awake. Just answer my goddamn questions. I can't. Who was that lady? Oh god, she made me do it. What lady? What did you do? Did Wake hurt you? No, he wouldn't. I hurt him, didn't I? I betrayed him. I lied to him. I didn't want to. It was like it wasn't me. I kept screaming and my mouth wouldn't move. I still can't see right. It wasn't supposed to be like that. He was supposed to... She twisted it. Who? You mean to his wife? You mean his wife, Alice Wake? Was she there? The woman in black. It was about his manuscript. He wanted it back. We were supposed to talk about it, discuss a literary discussion with me. Are you screwing with me? Or, sorry, are you screwing him? No. Why would you? He's married. He wouldn't do that. He's not like that. So what were you up to in your trailer? She starts crying. I'm not a bad person. I didn't want to hurt him. Marigold's crying becomes more and more hysterical. She can barely speak. Oh, please, this isn't a dream, is it? I can't tell anymore. What's wrong with the world? Everything looks wrong now, like the light hurts my eyes. Everything looks wrong. It's all wrong. There's a long silence. Marigold continues to cry. Okay, hey, easy. I'm sorry, okay, Rose? Shh, come on, please stop crying. I won't ask you any more questions, okay? Marigold continues to cry, and Agent Nightingale appears to move to comfort her. It's okay, honey. I'm sorry. Everything's okay now. Shh. Yeah, we definitely see a softer side to Nightingale right here, where I get the feeling this is more his actual personality before his partner was killed and before he got involved in the events leading up to his partner's death. So during the original development of the game, they intended to have a dual protagonist system, just like the sequel, and they had to cut it. But you were supposed to play as Nightingale as in part of the game, not just playing as Alan, but also playing as Nightingale throughout it. And we would have gotten so much contextualization for his character, and that was all cut. And it's really unfortunate because when someone just plays the game and doesn't have this extra information, they just seem as just this freaking psychotic cop that's just running around flashing his badge, shooting things, and he's just wild and off the roll freaking cowboy. But that's not really the situation here. There's a lot more going on, and I wish the game was able to show it, but unfortunately it wasn't. Alright, interview with Barry Wheeler. Why did I sound Australian? I was trying to go for New York. Anyways, sorry, my accents are terrible. Alright. It's unclear why Wake's agent Barry Wheeler is being interviewed, but clearly this is somehow connected with the events in the trailer park. Oh. Okay, you're gonna jump down? Or are you gonna stay sitting there? I can't tell, Zoe. I've tried to contact Wheeler several times, but he refuses to talk to me. After certain legal proceedings, I decided to abandon all my attempts on that front. So this confirms that Clay Store tried to contact Barry to get information. He basically got lawyers involved to keep Clay out of it, looking too much into the situation. Well, yeah, Barry's pissed. He just had to deal with Nightingale. An argumentative Barry Wheeler resists divulging any secrets about Alan Wake. Oh, no. This means he was still in town. Sorry, Clay appears to have taken this. And Barry was still in town in the aftermath. Okay. Hi there's Joey. Can I have my hand back? Thank you. Talking to Barry Wheeler, a literary agent. Oh, what's that? I'm recording this, I told you. How are you feeling, Wheeler? How do you think I'm feeling? I feel like shit. Did you arrest Rose? That's an ongoing investigation. Can't discuss with you. You just worry about yourself here, Wheeler. Why? Am I under arrest? Not yet. Let's see if you can keep it that way. I've got some questions about Wake. You're his friend, right? And his agent. We go back. Yeah, good guy. So you know where he is. How would I know where he is? You just said you're his friend. And agent. And I don't know where he is. You don't? What about his wife? You mean Alice? Yeah. What does he have? Other wives? Dude, fucking dick. No, I was just... Well, you know she's missing. I know she's missing. You're friends with the Wakes, aren't you? Sure, I told you. Al's old friend. But not her? What? No, she's a friend. Look, we don't see eye to eye on some things, that's all. You sure you don't know anything? I mean, this whole damn thing, the way you're acting now, I start to get ideas. For example, say there's a marital problem. Maybe she stepped out on him. Wake found out, took it out on her, and you're covering it up for your meal ticket. What? Hey, happens all the time. I mean, I know you're not the other man, right? I can't see a woman like that going for you. Dude, he's fucking being emotionally manipulative as fuck. Hey, I get plenty, buddy. Look, what's wrong with you? I got some bad coffee from Rose and passed out. Suddenly you're in my face about some crazy shit. Listen, I'm the injured party here. I'm the victim. I don't care about any of that. I just want... You don't care? What? Is this below your pay grade, Mr. FBI? Well, my lawyer will make you care, pal. God damn it. Tell me where Wake is. Am I psychic? Do I have a map in my pocket with a big X on it? Does he post status updates? Hell, by now, I wouldn't tell you even if I knew, because I think you're batshit crazy. Believe me, I know crazy when I see it. Listen, doughboy, how would you like to be charged with obstruction of justice? Oh, that's it now, man. It's lawyer time. I want my phone call. You haven't read me my rights. You're not even under arrest. Oh, well, you're still a jerk. If you're not arresting me? No. Well, then I'm out of here, jerk. And he just gets up and walks off. Chad Barry. Everyone raise your drinks. Barry's an absolute Chad's like, screw you. Yeah, because technically, if you're not, they haven't read your rights and you're not under arrest, you technically do not need to answer questions here. He can just leave. Like, you can be legally detained, but that's a whole nother situation. Alright, now we got the fun one. Dude, but seriously, he's literally trying to insinuate that Alan beat his wife. He beat Alice. And then tried to emotionally manipulate him by saying, like, oh, yeah, well, if she did step out, it wouldn't be with you, would it? It's like, you fucking prick. Alright. Yeah, she really wants some attention. No, you can sleep anywhere, just not on my pile of notes. Just not on my notes, cat. Local disc jockey and radio personality Pat Maine was obviously resentful of Nightingale, though it isn't quite clear why. Well, he just tried to shoot at him the previous night. Exactly. He's like... It's obvious, Kabasa, that Nightingale has an image of Alan in his head. He's just trying to make the facts fit, even though there's no evidence to push anything in that direction. Hey. Hey. She's literally moving back and forth on my desk to make sure wherever I move my notes, she wants to sit on top of it. Alright. Unfortunately, his reaction is somewhat typical. Very few bright fellow citizens, if any, seem to respect Nightingale much. It's notable that the interview takes a strange turn at the end. Obviously, both Nightingale and Maine knew more than what they're saying, but neither party was willing to commit to saying it out loud. I'm interviewing Pat Maine, the local radio host. Thanks for coming in, Mr. Maine. Against my better judgment, you realize that the only reason I'm talking to you at all is because Sarah asked me to. Yeah, I'm very touched by your agent. I'm not going to take any abuse from you, not after our last encounter. Listen, that was all a misunderstanding. No, it wasn't. No, it was reckless, dangerous, and stupid, and you were in no condition to be working. Look, I can't... Can we just concentrate on the interview and get it over with? Please sit down. Please. Alright, so what do you want to know? What did Wake want with you? I have no idea, really. I didn't have any time to talk. I thought he dropped in for an interview. We met on the ferry and he and his wife were coming to town. He wasn't interested in one then. I said he should look me up if he changed his mind. I wouldn't have been a bit of a cat. It would have been a bit of a catch, especially with the Deerfest coming up. A celebrity would attract people outside the immediate area. That's not why he was there. He said that he couldn't say what he wanted before we were interrupted. If I hadn't said he was at the radio studio on the air, things probably had gone differently. You guys have probably noticed when I'm reading, I usually put words in the text that aren't actually there by accident. I don't know, like, I read words in art on page all the time. I apologize. Trust me, you got lucky. Wake's trouble. Really? I think I'm a fair judge of character. Agent Nightingale, and that's not the impression I got. Suit yourself. I did wonder if he had anything to do with the situation at the trailer park, but it seems so unlikely. I suppose I was wrong about that. Even so, I really can't imagine that anything Mr. Wake has done could be worth all this effort. You probably can't. Me, I don't have to imagine. That sounds ominous. It is ominous. Mr. Main, trust me on that. It's no joke. I've seen things you would not believe. You should consider the possibility that your experience does not make you an expert or improve your judgment. It may not make you as unique as you think. What? Are you telling me that you know what Wake is up to? Is that it? I don't know anything about Mr. Wake's. Perhaps if you were to tell me what he has done. That relates to an ongoing investigation I can't discuss with you. Or the sheriff, or anyone else, it appears. You're friendly with the sheriff, huh? This is a small community, Agent Nightingale. It's obvious that you have no idea what you're doing. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just trying to tell you something important. Please, Main. So here he starts pleading. 'Cause Nightingale understands that Main does know more about what's going on, and Nightingale legitimately wants to know. So this turns into more of a... He's begging. Exactly, Vest. The translation, you're in over your head, little man, and you don't know shit about what's happening. Which implies Main does know about what's happening. Please, Main, you know something. I need you to tell me. I need help here. Frankly, I'm not prepared to discuss that with you. I'm sorry, Agent Nightingale, but I don't trust you. But you trust Wake, is that it? I really don't know him at all, but he seems to be less of a loose cannon than you. Oh, here's a mistake right here. This should be Nightingale. This should be Nightingale, not Main. That's an error. Get out. Just get the hell out. And now we have one involving Emil Hartman, but we will not read this one because it's actually voice acted later in the game. There's a section at the end of it that is not in the game, but we'll just listen to them voice act because they'll do a way better job than me. But I love that scene with Pat because it implies a lot about what we're going to read in one of the comic books. But seeing Nightingale in desperate need to have more information, it puts him one on the defensive, but it also makes him more vulnerable. Which honestly is a nice change of pace. Okay, so let's X you out, X you out. So now we are officially in 33 minutes, and it's time to finally start the game. So let's get back in there. And for some reason, my work phone just got a text message. Anyways. Cat, what did you just knock over? Zoe, why are you always knocking things over? Alright, guys, I'll be right back. I gotta go check my work. I'm technically on call 24/7 with my position, so 2 seconds. I want to see what it is. All right, we're back. Nothing serious. Someone just left the gate open to where all of our equipment is inside of our warehouse, so we're trying to schedule someone to go down there and lock it up. So not a big deal, nothing I have to worry about. Oh, same. Getting calls at 3 a.m. on a Saturday because there's an emergency is the worst. No joke. I used to work because I'm in West Coast, and a lot of my clients used to be East Coast when I used to work for some of the REO preservation work, and I had to be available to take client calls as far back as 3 in the morning because that's when they open East Coast at 6 a.m. So I've never gone this way.
Little by little, without realizing it, I'd come to believe that the story in the manuscript was coming true. The current of its narrative had taken me deeper and deeper into dark waters. Alice had been taken from me. Barry was probably in jail. I was a fugitive from the FBI. The whole world taken over by the dark presence was trying to destroy me. It all felt real, but it matched a textbook case of insanity.
Yeah, Ichiro, REOs are real estate owned. It's basically like empty properties that have been foreclosed upon, so no one lives there, and it's just maintaining them. I used to do that back in the day.
Even during daytime, I was being stalked. The bridge must have collapsed only moments after I'd crossed it.
No joke, I did not know this interaction of this voice line was here until last week when I was replaying the game. Because I've never turned around. But yeah, literally as soon as he crosses the bridge, it collapses. No turning back. Hold on, stop. I should really not take my hand off the steering wheel while I'm doing this. Boom. Alright, let's get this going. Oh god, I'm horrible at this driving. Well, at the end of the day, the bridge collapsing kind of makes sure that Alan keeps going forward. He's not allowed to say, like, you know what, let's just not do this. Nah, you're stuck, buddy. Is Alan a bad driver, or is this game just have ice physics? You know, I have no idea. Alright, so there is some information in the novel, and it just makes sense that a lot of these empty vehicles we see all over that are parked, the people who were driving them kind of just got out, went into the woods for some reason, and were never seen again. Most likely all the taken we find in the areas, these are their vehicles. Or at least they're real people who were once using them. Whoa! And here's another broken bridge that was caused by a sinkhole. Oh gosh. I mean, most likely he's never driven a car in his life because he's from New York. He just took the metro. Alright, you know, we can technically go all the way around in the vehicle, but, you know, let's just walk up here. Just for the fun of it. Just because. I mean, look at the sights. It's hard to drive without feeling any motion. It's true. I mean, I think it's for that reason that if I'm not the one driving, I sometimes get carsick, because I need to be able to, like, anticipate the shifts in motion. But, anyways.
This is Pat Main, and you're listening to KBF-FM. Folks, I want to apologize for kind of abandoning you to that looping music track last night, but I was detained. You see, I encountered a big-shot G-man with an itchy trigger finger who could use a lesson in manners and a boot in the ass. Not necessarily in that order either. Now, folks, I know I'm not being very informative here, and I apologize for that. I really should just keep quiet, but I'm just so peeved right now, because some people just shouldn't be carrying badges. I'm just glad that our Sheriff Breaker was there to straighten things out. And if someone I met last night is listening, let me just say, I'm sorry if my mouth got you in trouble. I'm pretty sure you're not the bad guy here. Godspeed, son. I hope you know what you're doing. Now, on a lighter note, I'll be talking to Dr. Nelson all morning. But first, a little music.
Alrighties. To answer your question, Melissa, should Pat Main be in bed right now? Yes, he absolutely should, and we may have a reason for it if we accept the novel, at least parts of the novel, is accurate. And for some reason... Oh, no, I actually do have it here. So the tune playing right now apparently is called Black Knight by Charles Brown. And it has to do with lost love, feeling alone, no one to confide in, stuff like that. Especially if he's being hunted by the law on all sides. Yeah, he definitely has not a lot to confide in. But I wonder if Pat Main intentionally used this tune to let him know that he can confide in him and can trust him. Alright, so let's go ahead and read the radio segment here where they have the two gentlemen that are running around and testing everything. So let's go Prima Guide, and I believe it's page 115. Where are you? 110, 106, 112, 115. There we go. Can you hear me, Sam? I'm at the logger's hut close to Payne's Lookout. Getting a bit of static, but the reception isn't too bad. So yes, according to this entire region, at least this section, is called Payne's Lookout. I wonder why. And yes, it is spelled P-A-Y-N-E. Yep. Apparently it's just a thing over here. Just like we have Payne elevators in the FBC, or in the oldest house. Can you find the... Yes, Darkanoid, that's actually right where we're heading, is the red couch. The red sofa. Who would decide to bring this this red sofa chair all the way here? Boom. So there is a little bit of lore, Darkanoid, about this in-game with the coffee lore stuff, but there may be more. Let's go take a look. Alright, this is going to be on page 114. Alright, got a text from Cooper at the head office. It reads, "Are you awake yet? Been up since sunrise, unlike the pencil pushers back in Seattle. Took a while, but this one, wow. It's got all the marks of a lunatic's Easter egg hunt. One wingback chair dragged to the top of a cliff, and a thermos balanced on it." Cooper again. FBI agent Dale Cooper. Yep. At least an echo. I would argue probably an echo of Witch, but not the same character from Twin Peaks, for sure. Even though you could make the argument that the IRL Cooper could be here. Actually, no, because at that point in time, I don't think he was around. When does Twin Peaks actually take place, chronologically speaking? Because this would have been in 2010 when this is occurring. That's the real Cooper, you don't care? 1989. Yeah, no, this is way, way, way later then. So I'm a curious, Darkanoid, do you have any other information regarding this? By the way, I have not watched all of Twin Peaks. I've only remembered like the first couple episodes, but I do know like the generic overview of a lot of the events. So I try not to say too much, but all I'm going to say is one of the times that we find this red chair, they make a reference of the dwarf. And I'm wondering if that's what you're thinking when it comes to the lore behind the chair. Oh, these red chairs show up all over the place. We'll see another one in this chapter, to be 100% honest. Okay, let's get going. Oh my god, Alan, what are you doing? That is a fence. Okay, let's get on down. We got another radio station to get to. Considering all the bridges that are dropping and breaking right now, I would not feel comfortable driving over that. Ready for my Death Rally practice. I'm still working on my Platinum Trophy for the Death Rally remake. But it requires a minimum of like 80 hours just to grind enough money. I mean, he is jogging in 3 layers of clothing. Yeah, I also think he hasn't seen a treadmill in probably 20 years.
Welcome back to KBF FM. Hope you enjoyed that tune. Now, Doc, you were talking about life and finding that special someone, that soulmate.
Well, you were talking about that. I was saying I don't buy it.
Well, see, to me, that's strange, because I always pegged you as a hopeless romantic.
You got me there, Pat. But I think love's where you look for it. And you need to do a lot of looking, sure. But the idea that there's that one special person out there for you, and if you miss that chance, it's gone forever, and you're forever incomplete. I mean, isn't that depressing? Or, heck, childish even? Hey, there's plenty of fish in the sea.
And apparently a fisherman has a fishing analogy for everything, but what you're saying, isn't that a little harsh?
Well, no. What I am saying is that your potential for finding that connection isn't limited to what's essentially a chance encounter. How is that harsh?
Yeah, well, I guess that's a nice thought, but let me say something personal here.
Okay.
Now, well, I don't disagree with you exactly, but I can't really fit that together with what I feel, what I felt for someone, because she was the one. She was. And I let her drift away from me. Maybe I didn't put in the work, I don't know, but, well, since then, and it was a long time ago, but since then, there hasn't been anyone, not like her. And I'm not saying I dwell on her or haven't moved on. I like my life. I'm not living in the past, but I do miss the way she completed me.
You can't argue with the heart, Pat.
I'm sorry, folks. I had kind of a scary experience last night, and let's just say it's shaken a few things loose.
Okay, so this one doesn't have a song that goes along with it. You can sense Max Payne echoes in that story. Possibly a little bit. I mean, it is kind of commented on even later on in this game, especially with Alan writing on Alex Casey. When we get to the Harry Garrett show, they mention stuff on that as well. Alright, so this may be why Pat Maine is on the radio right now. So, according to the novel, and again, we can't really consider the novel 100% canon, if canon at all, but this is an interesting thing, and I kind of like it, so I'm going to go headcanon this one. So we know that Pat is the nighttime host of KBFM, but there is a daytime host by the name of Jimmy Egan, spelled E-A-G-A-N. And apparently, over the previous night, he went missing. Probably taken. So right now, there's no host this morning, so Pat has to pull a double shift and fill in for Jimmy. That's the explanation of the novel, and you know what? I like it. So I'm just going to go with it. Because my rules when it comes to looking at semi or non-canon sources is, one, does it actively contradict the confirmed canon story? If it does, then we treat it as if it never happened and never got mentioned. If it does not contradict it, then the second question is, does it actively improve the original story, or does it detract from the original story? And if it detracts, then ignore it. If it improves it, sure, headcanon the thing. Which is why little stuff like this, even though it's the novel and non-canon technically, hey, you know what? I like it. So I'll headcanon that stuff. And now we got the red barn. So apparently this barn in the survival guide is actually photographed in a book called The Tumbledown Barns of Pacific Northwest. It's a very famous one. And on top of that, it's been used recently by campers. Since the whole thing's abandoned, campers have been using the place just to sleep in while they're up in the area. So they got a little bit of, yeah. Just in case you missed, I meant to say the red couches could have been places Cynthia stayed and traveled during her years of fighting the darkness and supply chests. What makes it likely for me is that we see those couches in her room in episode 5. The same one? Okay. I mean, we'll see a lot of them, and we'll keep an eye out on them. But there's something in the thermos which may suggest something about the origin of the chairs.
For Mott, spying on the writer on the ferry had been a disappointment. His boss had made Wake out to be something special, but Mott hadn't been impressed. He'd gotten a good long look at the wife, though, and he liked what he saw. Mott had fantasized about goading Wake into a fight, but it hadn't happened. Still, he'd get his chance to see if the writer had anything in him. He'd been promised as much.
Yeah, so if we remember in... I don't know if we actually read his psych profile. Hold on. Let's go. Let me go check something real quick, because I don't know if we actually even mentioned it. So in the survival guide, we do have some psych profiles on some of the characters. And I think they mentioned something about Mott and his behavior towards certain people. There we go. Okay, aged 40. It says, a gaunt, thin, and wiry ex-con, Mott is a mentally unstable man with an outlaw's past, having done a stretch for possession of illegal firearms. He is coarse, violent, and nasty. Mott isn't particularly intelligent, but he often manages to be cunning. He suffers from low self-esteem and compensates for it with a nasty disposition he's been cultivating. He tends to divide people into two groups, those he despises and therefore attempts to bully, and those he respects and desperately attempts to please. He's easily manipulated by the latter, and with them, Mott is a dangerous, wild-eyed fanatic. If he wasn't so dull-witted and malicious, he'd be pitiful and pathetic. Nice. Nice that one of the comics expands on his personality. Yes! So when we get to the comics in episode... We're probably going to read it sometime. I don't remember when I put it in my notes, but either during episode 4 near the end or at the start of episode 5. What does the blue mean? What are you talking about? By the way, I haven't said hello yet. What's up, Ray? How you doing?
I was early. I was supposed to meet the kidnapper at noon in the main building. The coal mine was quiet. It was a museum now.
And I accidentally just triggered some dialogue that's not supposed to happen until I get closer, but whatever. Let's not fall off the side of the cliff. And here we go. So that red barn up at the top does have a connection down to the mill. The Bright Falls coal mine. Alrighty, so let's get some... First, let's get a thermos, and then let's get some history. Thermos. Let's get some thermos lore. Alright, so this one is on page 116. Where are you? There we go. I'm getting to see all the thrilling attractions around here. First, the trailer park, then a train depot, and now an abandoned mine. Yes, it's sarcasm. This job sucks. Another thermos hidden by the hands of a crazy person. This one's tucked away by the blocked mine entrance near the parking lot. Okay, so that really doesn't say much, personally. But now we got some history to get through. And the entire entrance to the mine has been boarded up and framed over. you know, honestly, for probably liability reasons, because it is unstable. And if they have a cave-in, someone can be like, I'm suing you for letting me go in there. Which, personally, I think it's frustrating, considering they give you a warning, don't go in there, and if you go in there, you blame the person who told you not to go in there. Personal story, but that's something I used to have to do all the time. Vacant properties that had swimming pools, we literally were required to board over the pool and put locks on all the fences, because the bank could get sued if someone broke onto the property, tripped and fell into the pool, and broke a leg. Then the bank would be legally liable for it. It's like, why would you break onto the property? Like, it's kind of a gray area there. It just got frustrating because people would break the locks and break open the board ups all the time, so we'd have to redo it every other week. Anyways, sorry. Rant over. While there were some earlier residents in the area, the true genesis of the town of Bright Falls came with the founding of the Bright Falls Mining Company and the opening of the Bright Falls coal mine in 1978. Although the work was hard and dangerous, many immigrants, Germans, Poles, Italians, Finns, and Swedes, among others, worked the mines. So this really just gives us our history of the town. While lucrative at first, the mining steadily declined in the 20th century. The seams were rich but hard to get at, and the volcanic activity in the area made the mine shafts particularly dangerous. Did I say 1978 instead of 1878, Melissa? My bad. My bad. In 1970, a volcanic eruption below Cauldron Lake, while relatively minor, caused most of the deep mining tunnels to collapse or flood. 32 miners lost their lives in the calamity, and all the mining around Bright Falls came to a final stop. Now, many of the remaining buildings are protected as historical landmarks. So what would that do to the caves in question that happened to flood with Cauldron Lake water? Just a question.
With Nightingale gone and the night wind blowing in through the broken studio window, Maine stared at Sarah. The sheriff looked away. Maine's voice shook with barely controlled anger. That boy's doing more drinking than thinking. I hope you know what you're doing, Sarah. He's got a sickness in his eyes. You take my word for it. He wants Wake for a reason, and it's not for anything good.
32 people died in there, yep. But weirdly enough, we do get an opportunity to see this later on when we get to the silver mine. Alright, let's do this. And down there's the train depot. It's actually kind of interesting to look down at here during the daylight, because we do travel through here at night. And all the train cars are in their proper position. It hasn't been disrupted yet. Just a completely different site. Anyways.
I didn't want to go outside. Cops had to be looking for me. The noon sun turned the place into a sauna. The day dragged on. Different scenarios ran through my mind. Ways of how I'd torture the kidnapper to get Alice back. Or the different horrible things he could have done to her. I imagined her dead. I had no way of knowing she was still alive. It was killing me. I was running on blind hope. It was all a waste of time. The bastard never showed up.
Where the hell are you?
Change of plans. You know where Mirror Peak is? It's a big mountain north of where you are. You follow the path from the mine, you can't miss it. There's a lookout point there. I'll be waiting.
I'm through being jerked around
You
by
want
you.
to see your wife alive? Because if you do, you better watch what you say to me. Do we understand each other?
I want to talk to Alice.
Yeah, and I want the manuscript. Don't keep me waiting, Wake.
Hello? Hello? Ah! I'm gonna kill him.
So we're going to Mirror
I had to
Peak.
get to Mirror Peak.
Kind of like, you know, when you look in a mirror and you see Twin Peak.
maybe closer than ever before.
I guess the Dark Presence really didn't like that joke. Anyways, I pissed it off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Exactly, Darkanoid did not like the pun. Alright, so now we can read the next part of Agent Nightingale's field notes. Let's head on over. Okay, Agent Nightingale's field notes, which is above here. Let's return above all the interviews. There we go. So we're looking for day 3 night. Right here. Scanner picked up confused distress call response. Domestic violence or burglary, or vandalism or kidnapping. Deputy Dog can't decide. Little Janie Law's got her hands full. Things here are just strange enough that I'm sure I'm on the right track. Found Wake's agent, followed him a bit. Tubby tried to lose me. Maybe Wake's so slippery because of his buddies so slimy. And here's Clay's comments. It is difficult to break through Nightingale's tough law enforcement facade at times, even when he's writing his inner thoughts, but reading between the lines may be illuminative. While Nightingale's entry regarding the scanner audio may be nothing more than small-town deputy handling routine crime calls, why would he bother noting them? Given his state of mind in the earlier entries, it seems more likely that Nightingale found the garbled distress calls suggestive of paranormal activity. The street of Bright Falls the day before Deerfest. Yeah, so he's definitely interpreting everything through the lens of it's paranormal and Alan's responsible. Even if there's literally just like, oh, we had a break-in over here, or we had a domestic disturbance call, or whatever. No, it's Alan's fault. It's all Alan. It's all Alan. Okay, let's head on back. And heading down. Ow. Okay, let's take stock of our gear. We have 10 shotgun shells, 35 rounds, and 3 flares. I just want to verify what we got. Okay. Ooh, give me some batteries, which we do not need, and I'll take the flares. Oh, there we go. Coffee thermos. Hello there. Alright, so this thermos is page 118. There we go. Sitting on a metal shelf in the dark mine storage area. For a tourist attraction, there certainly isn't much to attract tourists. Unless you're partial to the smell of rotting wood and need your sinuses filled with dust. Exactly, Stubbs toe. Damn you, Wake. He's like, Nightingale's the epitome of that meme with a guy who's riding a bike and puts a stick in there and goes, damn you, why would you do this? Okay. Okay, this does not seem safe. I mean, if there's a ladder here, that'd be one thing, but literally this doesn't... OSHA would really not like this. I mean, just saying, just saying.
When Thomas Zane fell for Barbara Jagger, it happened fast. She was young, vibrant, and beautiful, full of life. He had never been a very happy man, and without any seeming effort, she had changed all that. Zane felt good for the first time in his life. Everything she did was another piece of a jigsaw puzzle he hadn't even known he'd been missing. And best of all, she made the words flow, strong and sharp. She was his muse.
Oh, I mean, Melissa, so you're suggesting it's for, like, dropping coal down and not into the terrain? You know, that probably makes more sense than my thought. You want to know what's funny is reading this one, it honestly reminds me of one of the tunes on the Ghostlight album by Poets of the Fall, Lust for Life. It's that thing that it brings back your enjoyment of life itself, and yeah, that's basically what this is saying, the relationship between Zane and Barbara. Anyways. Alright, so in the commentary, I mean, this is just... How do I want to put this? I wouldn't say common sense, but it's very easy to see. But the commentary says the train station and the rail depot, which is where we're at right now, is actually very instrumental to the town itself being able to expand and grow. Because the ability to transport goods throughout a region really puts a place on the map. And it brings in a lot of economic opportunities that otherwise would not be there for the entire city. Alright, let's do this. Come on. There you are. That did not do much. I'm sorry, you're not allowed to hit me. I have the power of geometry on my side. Come on, take him out. Dude, stop shooting at me. Don't appreciate your sass. Okay, fine. Get out of here. Where did he go? You know, I probably shouldn't have been using the shotgun because I get infinite pistol ammo right now. Please don't throw yourself at me. I have the power of geometry. You cannot beat that. If something has hitbox, I can hide behind it. Okay, let's get on going. Okay, let's check you off. Alright, let's get going. Sorry, if I have sections where I'm pausing, I'm literally just checking things off of my notes to make sure I hit all the points I intend to make. I think this is a better method than what I've been doing with previous runs, because I have the notes on my computer when I was doing the Max Payne games, but I was honestly forgetting to say stuff. I skipped over some sections without realizing it. This way it kind of forces me to read it all. Yes, Vim and Vinegar, I will be playing Signal and the Writer. I mean, we're going to be doing everything. We're going to be going through both those. We're going to be doing American Nightmare. We're going to be reading the blog spot for This House of Dreams. Everything. Everything. Oh, come on! Get over here. You dick. Normally I just drop that down there and it destroys it. Okay, good enough. Not good enough! I guess the poltergeist decided to use geometry against me, and I do not approve. Break, we're not talking about the CDI Zelda games because there's no such thing as CDI Zelda games. We have all collectively decided those games do not exist. I have written them out of existence.
What the hell?
I have retconned the universe to say those do not exist.
The only way to reach the hillside ahead was to go through the building. I had to find a way to avoid electrocution.
Whoa! I'm sorry. I did not see you standing there. You get out of the way, you dick. Alright. Hey you, get off your back. Hey you, stop covering your eyes. You've reconned my retcon? Why would you guys do that? Why would you undo my retcons? You guys just like those games for the memes, and that's really it. Yes, we're going to talk about Nightless Night when we get to Alan Wake 2, but that's still a far ways off. Load your flare gun, and let's get going. Okay, let's see if we can get through this without having to fight anything. Someone put the CDI Zelda in a shoebox. Damn it! I overlooked the loophole. Goodbye. Time to use geometry to keep myself safe. Okay, good enough for me. Grab you, stay away, move, and run. Just need to save that ammo. Alright. We're good. What are we? Ugh! I'm not dealing with you. I'm just like, nope. Not putting up with that. Right, all the way upstairs. Oh, shit. Hello, boys! Goodbye, boys. Okay, any supplies down here? I don't see any. Trust no one in the dark. Oh my god, look, we found another of those red sofas that just so happens to be in here. This is probably like the third or fourth one we found in the game so far. Okay, time for some coffee thermos lore. And this one is on page 119. Okay, so here's when we get a little bit of stuff on the chair. Cooper's back from his seminar. He's a wise ass texting me weirdness. It was his chair. His favorite chair. Who's he talking about? I think I told him this latest thermos was on a wingback chair up in the top floor of the second mine warehouse. Cryptic messages aren't cool, Coop. I think I know whose chair it is, but that's a whole... We'll get there when we get there. But apparently this was his favorite chair. Dude, it wouldn't surprise me if they did turn this into an OOP, considering stuff. Actually, that's a good question, Vest. Hold on. I don't think so, but I want to double check. In between with Mr. Door. Alan Wake. No, that is nowhere near the same chair that Mr. Door's sitting in. But I do think it's the one Sergeant Army that the Elbow uses. And that's all I'll say. If you know, you know.
Some of the Taken retained echoes of their former selves, but these were just the nerve twitches of a dead thing. Nothing remained but a shell covered and filled with darkness. In most cases, these puppets were enough for the purposes of the dark presence. But for anything more elaborate, as with the writer, it was different. It needed his mind. And so rather than taking him over completely, it merely touched him.
Just like it did with Rose. And I think that's something that comes back when... Because all the yellow paint we've been seeing throughout the game, according to Cynthia at least, can only be seen by those who've been touched by darkness and saved by light. So it'd be argued that anyone who has been touched by the dark presence at any point in time is able to see that bioluminescent light. And they did mention some people have seen the graffiti she's been leaving around, specifically the ones... Specifically the ones at the Biltmore National Monument by the second logging camp. Okay, this may just be me. I have to share this. But all freaking week, I swear to God, the song I've had stuck in my head is the opening theme from Digimon Frontier Season 4. I've literally been humming it to myself literally all freaking week, and I cannot get it out of my head. It's not balanced, it's reflective. Binge Season 4. Just that opening went so hard, dude. I'm not even kidding.
There was no way the flashbang grenades were standard power company equipment.
Okay. So we're getting ready to go into a new area, which on the map is called Gray Peak Gorge. Okay, next page. And since we're on the note, let's go ahead and take a look at our map. So, in terms of our travels, we started off... At least we started episode 3 here in the Sparkling River Estates. We made it to the KBFM station, crossed the river, and then we got a vehicle and traveled all the way up, most likely to somewhere around here. And then traveled that path to... No, that's the Bright Falls Tower. Oh, where is it? Sorry. Here. Sorry. We went here, around this direction, and probably started the episode around here, and then traveled to where the Mine Museum is here, and we're traveling up to Mirror Peak, which is on the southeast side of the lake. Anyways. I don't know. I like maps. I enjoy maps. I think it's fun. Ah. Where did Cynthia get flashbang grenades? Dude, I don't question how Cynthia gets so many things. Cynthia's the goat. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, I need to start backing up now. Ah, shit, you got in the way, you jerk. I mean, this is Bright Falls. Maybe they literally just sell them at the general store. Come on. I want you guys to group up a little bit more. There we go. Nice. Oh my god, again? So many. I'm trying my best not to run through all of my equipment at the moment, but you know what? Sometimes shit happens.
I stared through the bars of the jail cell. Barry stood behind me, swaying on his feet, looking as ill as I felt. Agent Nightingale stood on the other side of the bars with Sheriff Breaker. Nightingale had a stack of manuscript pages in his hand. He seemed unhinged as he gloated. Well, I've got you now, Raymond Chandler. It's all here. All the evidence, including conspiracy to murder a federal agent.
And again, the sad part is Nightingale isn't wrong. He presumes that all the supernatural stuff and the people dying and the people going missing are all because of Alan, and they kind of are. And now he has direct evidence. Hey, I'm reading a page about describing this. This is an affirmation of everything I think. He literally is the hero in his own story, and this was the proof, at least in his head. Like, it's just really... It's like, I almost look at Nightingale's story as very depressing. That's why he's so frustrated, because one, no one will believe him, but two, he, as a result of... You know what, we'll talk about what happened with his partner later, because we do get to that in some of the handwritten notes. I'll leave that to a little bit later. I wonder, does he ever realize it's supernatural? Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later, Kabasa. And thank you, Cynthia. So the only reason I don't think the red chairs have anything to do with Cynthia is because we don't really see them near these. But also, it's very likely just a Black Lodge reference. I missed entirely! That sucks balls! I'm pissed now. Oh, shoot. Before we do that, let's go ahead and read what Cynthia left for us. Alrighties. Survival Guide, and her hidden cache is on page 120. I wasted the shot because I was trying to get more kills in one go, and missed them all. Ronald Reagan said, when you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat. Find the fire inside the cache within the mine tunnel, and use it only when you have to. Stay strong and stay vigilant. And let's go ahead and just read the thermos while we're here so I don't have to swap back. This is on page 121. Whoever's responsible, and we've ruled out that pretty much everyone's still alive, has a ruthless streak in them. I cut a gash in my leg falling off a plank this damn thermos was sitting on at the end. And no, I can't go discharging my pistol, knocking the thermos off. Forensics needs it intact. Yes. On the end of the partially collapsed bridge, now a little more collapsed after my tumble. And yep. So this is after we came here, but yep. No! Don't do it! I just took a tumble. Let's try that again. The sad part is I don't think I've ever fallen off of this. Until just now. I said tumble too many times, and like Beetlejuice, I summoned it into existence. Weirdly enough, Ichiro, I'm pretty sure there's a, there is a law also that specifies that ignorance of the laws of existence does not make you innocent of said law. So even though, yeah, they arrested Hartman for FBC, for paracriminal laws from the Ash Act, just because he doesn't know that there's such a thing as the Ash Act and laws against it doesn't mean he can't be prosecuted for it. Because basically all you need to say is like, oh yeah, I know I stole from that guy, but I didn't know that was illegal.
I had no real plan. I was going to give the kidnapper all the manuscript pages I had for Alice. If that wasn't enough, I'd hold him at gunpoint and make him talk.
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch this. Okay. Oh, shoot. Hello there, everybody. Stay, stay, stay. And boom, be good. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Oh my god, leave me alone. I do not like this. Good enough. Keep running. I feel like I'm on the wrong side of the river, but I'm probably not. Oh, jeez. That was bad. I heard the footsteps and did nothing. Okay. It's just normally the high winds are telling you that you're going the wrong way. Which I think I did go the wrong path. Because there's the barn over here that I was looking for. Yeah, I think I took the wrong way around. Oh my gosh. You should not have that much health. And I am basically completely out of shotgun ammo already. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. I guess I just took the wrong path. Ooh, shotgun ammo, you don't say. Thermos, flare gun, flare gun. Alright, we're good. Let's go ahead and reload real fast. Do you consider the FPC competent or arrogant and cocky? Hold on. Let me take care of this, and I will respond to that. Up until Trench and the Hiss luck. Well, it depends on what context we're saying in terms of competence, because they are competent in their own right, but they're also idiots in their own right at the same time. Like, they have no foresight when it comes to how bad things can get. But they have a degree of arrogance in the sense that they feel like they are the only ones capable of handling things, despite their track record of not being very good at handling things. And personally, there is a difference between arrogance and that's not justified and justified, and that really just comes down to competence. Like, if you're amazing at what you do and you have an ego about it, that's one thing, but if you're horrible at what you do and you have an ego about it, that's a completely different situation. Anyways, let's read that thermos, because we did miss it. Alright. The red barn near the amazing sinkhole. That's another spot where I spotted a thermos. This may not be related to the others I found, as there's evidence this was a camper's holdup. But no sign of any campers, not even any bones, either animal or human. Okay. And back to the game. Yeah, so that was a sinkhole. And remember, this is in the area of all the mines, so the fact there are sinkholes makes perfect sense, because most likely the mines went underground in those areas, and the earthquakes kind of just juggled it a bit and caused those caverns to collapse in on themselves.
The dark presence was moving ahead of me in the same direction I was going. A cold feeling settled itself in the pit of my stomach. Was it going for Alice?
I think I talked about that a little bit in the Gristle Malik episode of my Psychology of Psychonauts series about the difference between healthy and not healthy narcissism. And it really just comes down to if you can back up your talk. And here we have the graveyard where those 32 miners who died during the cave-ins most likely were buried here without bodies. Most likely. I mean, it's possible they got the bodies out, but who knows?
Shift may cause cancer.
The graveyard... You know what? I agree with that. The graveyard shit could cause cancer, which is why you should never do graveyard shifts. I say that my buddy works graveyard at the hospital. Oh, I don't have any of those. That's not good. Honestly, I think whoever this Taken was in real life probably worked graveyard shifts and really did not appreciate the fact, so he just made that up as a joke in his head. Yes, well, at least the historical record of this area says those 32 miners did die. I mean, you could technically argue, it's like, hey, well, if they never recover the bodies, can we say they really died? Dude, like, what the... You stop being a dildo over here. I have never had one of these speedsters, like, juggle around so freaking much. Dude. Like, seriously, bro. None of them have ever taken this much time to freaking just stop freaking moving. Freaking Dale over here. But I mean, you could technically write a side story, a non-canon fan fiction, saying like, oh, well, they never recovered the bodies and the mines flooded, so maybe they drowned, and instead of actually dying, the 32 miners ended up in the dark place together. You know what I mean? Like, you could... It wouldn't contradict anything, but that would be under the presumption that the bodies never got recovered. But again, there's no evidence to support or even suggest any of that. That's just something you could discuss. And guess what, guys? Maybe that's... Okay. Okay, so let's just say that the if we go off on that tangent in sidetrack where the miners made it into the flooded waters into the dark place, that's how Until Dawn got started. They accidentally ended up in Cauldron Lake and ended up in the Until Dawn universe. I mean, why not?
I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it. In it, I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it. In it, I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it. In it, I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it. In it, I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it. In it, I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it.
I'm a plaid suit in a pinstripe world. I'm a plaid suit in a pinstripe world. I'm a plaid suit in a pinstripe world. Was Alan drunk? I mean, probably.
The place was dead, a ghost town. Had been for decades, maybe a century.
Okay, so So this is officially, because remember I mentioned this whole region was called the Grey Peak Gorge. Well, this is the Grey Peak Gorge ghost town, and yes, the stories told about this place is it is haunted, therefore we have poltergeists everywhere to make it feel like it's haunted. Hold on, I need some geometry, I need some geometry. There we go, that's some geometry right there. Well, Vim Vinegar, we will see one of these mines a little bit later. I think actually on the other side of this ghost town when we go into the silver mine.
Things were never as simple in real life as in fiction. I had lost count of the times I had wished there'd be a clear reason for my writer's block. Something to fight, something to lash out on. There wasn't. I was filled with doubt. I was nothing like the hero in my books. Alex Casey had gone through his life with single-minded determination, never wavering from his goal. Even now, I was angry at myself, angry at Alice, angry at Barry. I was fumbling and I had no plan.
Yes, Draco. Ghost stories are affected by the power of the lake because they're urban legends at the end of the day. I mean, the FBC was studying the effects of urban legends on AWE events. Grey Peak Gorge. Originally founded in 1928, the Grey Peak Gorge mining town was one of the permanent settlements the Bright Falls Mining Company built for its workers. The nearby graveyard is a testament to the dangers of the miners faced on a daily basis. Most of the men who lost their lives over the years here were buried there. A grim reminder to be careful for those who remain. Okay, so the grave markers we just saw are not necessarily all for the 32 who died in the cave, and they're just generally miners over the years, probably over since 1978, I think, or 1878, I believe, is when they established the mining company. So there's probably a lot just from regular stuff. Great Peak Gorge was abandoned almost overnight when the Bright Falls Mining Company closed its doors in 1970. Boom. Actually, since we're talking about that, I'm going to write that down in my stream notes. Just to come back to and revisit the idea of what happened to the miners. Died in the cave-in, did not. But were lost to the flooding waters. And I'll do a quick look around and see if I find anything that could add to that or not. But I don't think there is, personally. Well, hello there.
Doc sat down heavily. He examined Barry and Rose. Barry was already recovering. Rose was another story. She was conscious, but she was barely present, almost delirious, disturbed, touched in the head, they used to say. It wasn't the first time Doc had seen someone in such a state, but it had been over 30 years. Doc poured himself a stiff drink. He hadn't forgotten a thing.
So yeah, this, I agree, Darkanoid, this is a really cool one. This is a nightmare-only manuscript, and it flat out says that Doc Nelson had dealt with individuals who were touched by the dark presence at some point in time, and he recognized the symptoms. Now, it says here that he hadn't seen it in over 30 years. Now, 30 years from right now is 1980. So that could imply anything between... Like, I'd presume if he was talking about the situation regarding 1970 eruption and Thomas Zane, that he would have said closer to 40 years, because it's 40 years, basically, in a few months after that. Most likely, it's the AWEs involving the Andersons. Because Andersons had two AWEs, 76 and 78. So I'd presume that's roughly around the events we're talking about. I think another one in 79, because I gotta remember. I keep forgetting when the battle between Mr. Dorr and the Anderson brothers happened. Let me just check the timeline real quick while I'm standing here. Okay, 1970s, all those events. 1971 is when the Anderson brothers started their band. So in 1976 was the Bright Falls AWE involving the Andersons and the tornado at the farm. 77 was when Alan was born. 78. Yeah, so 78 was another AWE event involving the Andersons. And when was the battle with Mr. Dorr? 1988. There we go, 88. So yeah, he's most likely referring to the 1976 and 1978 Bright Falls AWE events. But it just makes me wonder just how much Doc Nelson actually knows, considering he's responded and treated patients who've had this issue in the past. And now that I think about it, we never saw that Doc Nelson in Alan Wake 2. And we never heard anything that might have happened to him.
Doc sat down heavily. He examined Barry and Rose. Barry was already recovering. Rose was another story. She was conscious, but she was barely present, almost delirious, disturbed, touched in the head, they used to say.
Wait, what? Why did I just read that again? Oh, that's right. Sorry. Hold on. Did I just pick up a thermos? Did I just... Oh, sorry, my memory's horrible. Did I just pick up a thermos and forgot and thought I picked up a manuscript page? Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. I do that. I'll literally forget things that happened 2 seconds ago. Okay, so this is thermos number 47. Where are you? I don't have the page number written in my notes, so I'm going to have to do it. There we go. While I was scouring a ghost town, finding plastic thermoses inside a barn, so unsafe I was afraid breathing hard would knock it down, Cooper sent me another text. The true understanding of both the creator and the creation is considered by me to be the transcendental or metaphysical knowledge. Says it's from a Hindu scripture called the Gita. Most likely the Bhagavad Gita. No idea why he's wasting my time with this. The true understanding of both the creator and the creation is considered by me to be the transcendental or metaphysical knowledge. Dude, Cooper's on the good shit. He's on the good shit, guys. Oh, and Synchronous, are you Indian? Are you from India then? Okay, let's shift on over. Nice. Yeah, I do love, it's chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, thanks, Break. Yeah, honestly, I do enjoy reading and studying a little bit of Vedic and Hindu theology. It's really interesting stuff. So either Cooper has been hypnotized by the Blessed Organization, or he went to... He did go to a seminar. No, it has nothing to do with the Blessed Organization. It's just... At least as far as we know. But anybody named Cooper who's an FBI agent probably has weird thoughts. Agreed, Darkanoid. Like, I've seen enough of Cooper to know that this is definitely an echo of that character, because he's a little weird, too. Ah, jeez. The geometry nearly failed me. I'm sorry, refrigerator. You know what? You are the most inferior refrigerator. You don't drop treats for me when I destroy you. You're not... Oh no, that's a vending machine. Sorry, you don't have a extra dimensional entity stuck inside of you. Maybe that's why it's so angry. The former isn't getting enough worship right now. Sorry, I don't know why my brain went to the vending machine instead of the fridge. They're the same shape, that's why. That's probably why. this is actually a tough one. Just because there's so many of them coming from different directions. Okay. Cooper practiced Buddhism, I think. Oh, really? Again, like, I don't know much of Twin Peaks. I just kind of know some overarching things in it. But the individual details, not really. There he is. There's number 3. Thank you for being so kind and considerate and waiting for me to finish up with your buddies. Okay, let's get on going. I don't feel safe walking on this, especially with all that. I don't like it. Oh no, this is one of these. You know what? I'm gonna have to use some other means. Just because these ones, you can't just hold it on there. You gotta do the high beam. Okay. Let's do this. Some parts of this game feel so monotonous. I wish there's more storage to the repetitive combat balance. I mean, there kind of is Vim and Vinegar. It's just you have to really be paying attention to it. Remember, we're walking through a ghost town of the former miners that is literally haunted. Maybe by the spirits of those who died here. Like, there's a lot of environmental storytelling. You just have to pay attention to it. Boom! Thermos, let's do this. Okay, now the thermos is right here. Spent hours finding this, hidden behind the lean-to shack by the rusting windmill fans. It didn't help that I was constantly hounded by head office, wanting a progress report. Cell phone reception is non-existent, although it doesn't stop Cooper sending me gibberish. Apparently, I should be thinking more metaphysically. I think that's the cat right there. Zoe. Actually, I'll be right back, guys. I need to refill my water anyways, and I'll go let the cat in. Alright, we are back. Let's go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and check this off, though. And before we go in through the door, let's grab the keys. Safe haven. Good to know we have a safe haven in here. Lovely.
Anything outside of riding is a struggle. I feel ill. I managed to make my way downstairs. There's a shoebox filled with books and papers by Thomas Zane. It's very hard to focus, but I managed to read some of it. He's a poet, and a good one. He writes of muses and creators summoning fabulous things from a magic lake, using his powers to shape the world of a realm of gods and dreams and demons, dark things that wait for a chance to slip through, wearing the flesh of men as disguise. Zane writes about himself, his girlfriend being taken over by a dark presence, about growing scared of the lake. Zane believes it's a mirror to the gaping void of darkness above, where some Lovecraftian presence lurks. I crawl back upstairs. I'll borrow these things for my story. They ring true. They fit.
So I love this one, partially because it shows that Alan is utilizing the Lovecraftian mythos. It confirms that Zane's poetry kind of has like a Lovecraftian type of mythos. Alan borrows it, which is why now this story is going to take on that Lovecraftian tonalities. But also, in the video, Alan turns around in the writings room, looks up, and starts fiddling with the camera. And he looks very confused, as if he's not really sure what it is and why it's there. It really makes me question whether someone literally set up a recording device in the writer's room to keep an eye on him. But if so, why are they now broadcasting those video feeds through the television? But if you go inside the room itself, the only thing that's up in those areas are these two ravens. So I don't know if it's an actual, like, video recording camera or if it's just being recorded through the raven's eyes. That's another thought I had. But here is a cool little detail as well. Here's a cool little detail. I haven't been reading all of the bylines when it comes to these TV sections for Night Springs or for the Writer in the Cabin videos, but this one I definitely will. Because they say something very interesting here. So this one was released on September 8th of 2004. And the byline for this one, it says, Episode 5, The Poet of the Fall. A desperate author tries plagiarism to hit a deadline, available to watch in the miner's shack at the far end of Great Peak Gorge Ghost Town. So who are they referring to? Who is the poet? Is the Poet of the Fall Tom, or is the Poet of the Fall Alan? The only reason I would lean more towards the Tom the Poet aspect is, one, the title, but two, this is the first one of these videos that directly really references him and his work. Yeah, Alan stole Zane's idea. Yeah, and they flat out call him out for a little bit of plagiarism. It's clearly Marco. But yeah, I just thought that was really freaking cool that they made that reference there. Is this where I read the pages Zane wrote in the guide? I mean, I think I already mentioned it, Marama, but I can head back if you want me to touch upon that. So, there's a section here. Let's see if I can find it. Because part of David Hodgson's video survival guide involves some of the taken types. Let me see. Zoe, don't sit in front of the screen. I'm trying to find it. Page 9. Okay, let me take a look. There we go. So the reason David Hodgson had information regarding the Taken specifically is because of this section. If you are reading this, then you have seen into the abyss most dark. You are touched. You will never be the same again, but you can fight to the bitter end. Fight with a light and with weapons that tear through gray, lifeless flesh. Beware the puppets, the floating foes, and the deviant birds. Beware. The following information was found in an old shoebox and appears to be notes written sometime during the late 1960s. The author of Taken by the Dark Presence is never identified, although the initials JZ or TZ were found in some pages. Attributed to an unknown author, they make interesting if slightly horrific reading. Now, I'm curious if this is supposed to be the title of one of the poems, or it's just a small segment of like some paper that happened to be in here. The Poet of the Fall is Loki. Oh, dude. Wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, so the reason David Hodgson has knowledge is because apparently he got into a shoebox and got notes. Yeah, it's not a book because it says notes written sometime, so it's not a book written, it's notes written. Yeah, so there's even lore to that. Anyways, let's get back. Let's switch over to a hunting rifle for the more ammunition. Boom, and more stopping power. How do we parse socks and ballerinas live at the oldest house? Why would a secret government agency have a concert inside their secret headquarters? You know what? I will have to look more into that when I get to my research for Control, Ichiro. Yeah, Forest Leaf. So they had a song called, a band called Socks and Ballerinas that did a show at the oldest house for some reason. But I'll look into that when I get to my replay of that game. For sure.
The kidnapper had sent me a text. The message was full of spelling errors and insults. It was telling me to hurry up.
Oh, the reason you want me to look at it is because he writes like Tom in Death Rally Beware. You know what? Let me just go take a second look at that real quick since you mention it. I mean, like, they mentioned Hodgson as someone who lived in the Pacific, or he was originally from England, moved to the Pacific Northwest, specifically Watery. He moved to Watery with his wife, and they had a statue of Cthulhu out front. And then he just went, before he can finish this, he was like basically finished with this survival guide, but never got the last chapter written, and then vanished, and no one's ever heard from him. Yeah, it's just Beware. There is no You Have Been Warned, as far as I can tell. But there is the line at the end of the AWE DLC where Alan does mention the You Have Been Warned stuff. Okay. In the next pages? Okay, we'll take a look real quick. Like, I do not mind. If you have a specific page, then let me know. Anomalous is win thing, life and big thing, and kindness. Yeah, I know. All these are written as part of that Tom Zane thing. You know what? I'll look at this off camera. And see if I can find something specific. But anyways, let's go ahead and look at page 125 for that cache. There we go. The rock and mist-filled vista are places to find solace and hope. And in your case, flare gun ammunition. Rage Against the Dying of the Light by Dylan Thomas. Okay, where did my pen go? Zoe, did you knock my pen off the table? No, you just sat on it. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's get going. Well, the reason why Mott is telling us to hurry up is because he's actively, if not actively being pursued, about to be pursued by the Dark Presence. Or as he refers to her, the Dark Mistress. I'm just scared to walk across this while the ravens are still running around. Just run, just run. Please don't hit me, please don't hit me. Okay, I'm safe. I can barely see where I'm sitting at. You freaking dildo, where are you? They're literally clipping through the cliff face. Okay, that's beautiful. Alright, time for the silver mine. Let's jump on down. Wait, did I just walk past it? Because I saw flares. I swear to God, I thought I just saw a flare, but okay, maybe I'm not. Okay, so we definitely have some moisture in this area because we've got moss growing. You can still see it like leaking down here. The tunnels go to Cauldron Lake.
Without warning, the headache stabbed at my brain.
Yeah, this is Cauldron Lake water. Remember, they mentioned that during the 1970 eruption, some of the mines got flooded with Cauldron Lake.
Alice?
Alice?
Yeah, he's as close as he possibly can be to Alice in this section.
I'm losing it. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, Bird, what's up, dude? It's been a while. How you been doing, buddy? So yeah, this is Cauldron Lake, and that's why things are a little bit weird, but also because of our proximity to Cauldron Lake, its effect on urban legends and stories are at its strongest in this cave, in this silver mine. I mean, so you can tell stories all around town, but the closer to the lake you get, the more they affect things, the more impact they have, and since we're literally right next to the lake, it's about as strong as it's going to get. So the silver mine could be argued to be the most haunted mine in the whole system.
The hunters were big, thick-set men, confident and at home in the woods. They were feeling good, running on beer, ghost stories, and camaraderie late into the night. It did them no good, as they were taken by the dark presence, sucked deep into a darkness far worse than any ghost story they ever told or heard.
And the novel plays more into that idea, too. I do have a note here to talk about it, but the novel really plays into the idea that the silver mine, it's haunted. The townsfolk do believe this place is haunted, because, again, this. And the interesting part is it's almost like a reverb, because every time someone comes down here, they experience it because of the urban legends, and because they experience it, they go back and tell the urban legend more, because they're like, hey, I just experienced this, which then reaffirms it to the townsfolk, and it just keeps on reflecting and reflecting and reflecting and getting more powerful, because it's an urban legend that proves itself to be true. Yeah, it's a feedback loop. One second, guys. Okay, I just read your DM break, and I thank you for that. I'll take a look at that in a little bit. He's basically sending me some information that the quote that Cooper sent the Thermos guy from the Bhagavad Gita is more from a commentary on the Gita rather than the Gita itself. But you can clarify that in chat if I'm misinterpreting that. I just did a quick read through. Oh my god. Alan, learn how to walk. Oh, and also in the survival guide, down in this specific cave system, there's an implication that Alice's haunting here can be considered kind of like a recording of the event. And it's kind of like replaying. It's an event caught in a loop, which is why he's hearing the events of 3 or 4, or the previous week when she fell into the lake. Because it's literally that event is a story, and stories can be retold, and they're being retold over and over and over again right here. Yeah, it seems to be directly from a 1988 commentary on the Gita, so we probably know the precise book that Cooper was looking at. I mean, fair. You're sick at the moment? Aw, not cool, dude. Hope you get better soon, dude. Alright, let's do this.
Even behind the closed doors and curtains of his grimy room at the Majestic, the local motel, Nightingale could feel the locals' eyes on him, the unrelenting pressure of their judgment.
1 second, Sam.
He forced it out of his mind. For all he knew, they could all be under Wake's spell already. You do what you have to do to get the job done. He took comfort from the bottle in his hand. Please, he thought, just let me get through this.
And again, this really further establishes Nightingale's position. 1 second, the dog wants to go outside. Alright, back. Sorry, Sammy, a few days ago had to get the update on his rabies shots, so it's going to take like a week or so for him to get full control over his faculties again. He needs to go outside a lot more than he normally would. And that probably just caused another sinkhole up top. Like, I'm just not even gonna deal with you. Goodbye. Ah, you jerk. You know what? Screw it. I got plenty of flare guns right now. Hey, Negakitsu, thanks so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. When we get an Alan Wake TV series, how should they tie the manuscript pages, and how should or could it connect to the main multiverse if they can? I mean, for that reason, I think they would be better off doing a Control spin-off series, because then they could just have a bunch of Rangers or FBC agents going around like X-Files and checking things out. I think that would be much easier, because then you can directly tie it in. One thing I would love them to do is do a TV series, maybe like a short TV series, dealing with the ordinary AWE. I think that'd be really cool. Or just like a film based upon that. But in terms of the manuscripts, it's kind of hard. It's the reason things like House of Leaves can't really be translated into a film because of how it reads. You really can't translate it to film. And gaming stories always have a difficulty being translated solely for stuff like that, the manuscripts. Because that'd be really weird from a viewing audience to constantly stop to read those. So it'd have to be one of those things where they acknowledge it, but not really stop and pause the entire TV show just to read them over and over again, because the average audience would probably be a little... like, the pacing would be off about them. But that's just my take on it. Okay, let's see where that's at. That is on page 127. There we go. And personally, I think an X-Files like Bright Falls show starring Shawn Ashmore as Tim Breaker, dude, I'd be down for that. And I know Shawn would be down for that too, because he's a total dork for the Remedyverse too. I'm surprised any of the miners made it out alive from the Jet Giant tomb. The narrow cave alcove where I found the thermos was a simple prelude to a convoluted and frankly terrifying ascent. I'm not paid enough to do this. I just rough up perps and write reports, and fire a gun when I can. I'm not cut out for hiking the wilderness. I want out. So question, there was an earlier thermos lore section. Do we think that when Cooper texted this guy and said, hey, are you awake? He was referring to, it's early in the morning, are you still sleeping? Or are you awake in another context? Who knows? Alright, time for... Wait. Did I literally just... Yeah, I literally just went the opposite direction. This is the direction I want to go. It's the reason why video game films and shows are very difficult to do, simply because most people don't... Because you can't really consume
I'd have to make
TV
my way
the same
up
way you
this
do
mine
consume
shaft
video
in order
games.
to go on. Maybe the machinery could help me with that.
Anyways, okay, let's just rush through this real quick. Boom. Oh, nope, you're going up. What if they just put the Archivist on TV? Oh, gosh. I apologize for not having Season 3 finale of The Archivist done and ready for you guys yet. There's some IRL stuff going on, which is the reason behind it. Why it hasn't been done, but I don't really want to get into it. But there are some reasons why I haven't finished that up. I wanted to have season, because it was supposed to be a 4-season run, and I wanted to have it all done before Control Resonant came out, and now that's definitely not going to happen. But right now, I'm kind of just in a flow state where I want to work on this, like, lore Bible series. It's almost 12 there, so you're heading off. Hey, no worries, Kenyatta, take it easy. Honestly, we're probably just going to finish this chapter and call it good. And Spartan kick. Okay, so instead of heading down, we're gonna head up. I really need to watch The Lost Room. Yeah, like I need to, like I've watched the first episode, 2 episodes probably 3 times. I keep starting it and I just never finish it.
Lightning flashed behind the windows of Cauldron Lake Lodge. Tor Anderson laughed and held the steel hammer above his head. Nurse Sinclair was trying to calm him down without success. Tor grinned madly and shouted, "My hammer's up. Here's a friendly poke from Molnir, wench." He brought the hammer down with all his might on Sinclair's head. "We're on a comeback tour, baby."
Dr. Spooky, I don't think The Lost Room is streaming anywhere. Like, you just either have to find copies of it somewhere or find it on a bootleg site. But it's like, I don't think it's actually hosted anywhere specifically. Oh, you actually own it on DVD Break? Nice. I'm still trying to find the full series of Swift Justice, but I can only find random episodes on YouTube, and it annoys me. I love how they just give you the opportunity to just enjoy the Twin Peak. Oh, I mean, the Mirror Peak here. It's impossible to find, yeah. I seriously just have to go onto like eBay and try to find old VHS copies of Swift Justice so I can watch it for RCU reasons. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's a TV show that came out in the mid-90s. It only lasted like 12 or 13 episodes, but it starred James McCaffrey playing a New York detective, and it basically is like a prototype Max Payne. Down to the leather jacket and the dual pistols and everything. He's basically playing Max Payne before Max Payne was a thing. And that's where they got the naming scheme for the Dick Justice. I just find it freaking amusing. But yeah, there's a lot of echoes in Max Payne from that TV show.
Oh, great. Another cable car. Just great.
Oh, 100% inspiration. And the premise actually sounded pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe even for casting in the first place. Oh, I can almost guarantee a lot of the character models and his archetype was basically taken right off that show. Oh, shoot. I did not mean to drop that off the side. I'm literally just gonna keep popping these. Stay away! Begone, you demons! Ow. And that's why I'm just gonna keep using the flare. You found 10 out of the 13 episodes in terrible quality? Yeah, it's all gonna be like 480p. But, you know what? It's fine. Well then, another happy landing, I agree. We're almost done, so I'm not worried about conserving ammo. Ah!
Shit.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny, I've been on cable cars a lot, and I've never had a problem with them, so... I think it's funny that the implication is they're always breaking here. Hey look, we got some canned pyramids. And you know what that means? Let's go see what Mott has to say. Alright, so this is going to be on page 128. Oh, Sammy wants to come back in. I'll let him in as soon as we read this. It's a clue, but it's a subtle one. Up on the cable car platform. Gives me time, and God, I need it. She's starting to haunt my dreams. I see her even when I blink. I can't take it. I don't have enough damn time. So, Mott appears to be haunted by Barbara Jagger throughout a lot of this. Like, he's increasingly, she starts haunting him, which is... okay. And that might contribute to some of his panic when he was sending those text messages. Hey, Negakitsu, dude, thanks for the donation. You are amazing. Seriously, I do truly appreciate it. Theory, Max Payne Remake will have new game plus, but they changed his name to Alex Casey. All could keep up the great with... Also, keep up the great with and hope you collab with Lore Dump. Ah, dude, that'd be fun. Weirdly enough, Monty did message me before he did those RCU Lore Dump series, and I was giving him some details on that beforehand. Yeah, I hope to collaborate with him again. That was a lot of fun. All right, 1 second. Let me go grab the dog. Doggo? Are you a good doggo? You know you got a furry butt, right? Did you know you're a dog? Did you know you're a dog? All right, I'm back. Boom, boom. All right, so where were we? Let's check you off. And while we're sitting here, let's... You think he knows... Dude! Is my microphone literally that sensitive? You guys heard it? I'm literally in the other room by the back door. Jeez. Sorry, I just have to remind him sometimes. Sometimes he doesn't know if he's... He needs to know he's a good furry dog sometimes. Who knows? Okay, you know what I think I need to do is I need to turn down the sensitivity of my microphone and just alter it a little bit. I gotta change the settings. Like, turn down the sensitivity, but then turn up the volume. Anyways. Alright, so while we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at what Nightingale's doing at this very moment. Zoe, what are you doing? Now you're sitting in front of the keyboard. Okay, Alan Wake file. There we go. And this is going to be day 3, practically 4. So this is literally the middle of the night. Okay. Can't go on like this. Daylight is harsh when there's no sleep. True. Saw Lady Diogenes with her lamp in broad daylight. I forgot her real name. Got it written somewhere. How to get to wake. Is someone hiding him? Extremism in the cause of sanity is no vice, whatever it takes. Local head shrinker's name keeps coming up. Hartman. And this is Clay's notes. You peak your mic when I scream. Yeah, I think I do need to adjust the sensitivity of my mic and then raise the volume on it at the same time. But I honestly don't know technology well, so I'll have to fiddle with it. Nightingale's reference to Lady Diogenes refers to the Greek philosopher who walked around ancient Athens with a lamp during the day for the stated purpose of looking for an honest man. Clearly, he was referring to Cynthia Weaver, a well-known town eccentric who may have been more prescient about the dangers of darkness than anyone could have predicted. Also of note, it mentions of Dr. Emil Hartman, who has been unresponsive to my interview requests. Yeah, I doubt Hartman would talk to Clay. Later notes show Nightingale to be suspicious of Hartman's practice at the Cauldron Lake Lodge. Apparently Lost Room, at least previously, was on Amazon. You know what? I'll take a look. How did you say it, Diogenes? I mean, like, I think it's Diogenes because it'd be, what, Greek/Roman at the time? It mentions a Greek philosopher, but I presume it'd be that way. I could be wrong, though. Also, what is the quote there? Because I know he's basically badly paraphrasing a quote. It's on Tubi. Tubi is free. Nice. Let me just check that quote, because I know I looked it up earlier. Extremism in the cause of sanity. Sorry, I'm just texting, or I'm just looking this up real quick. Okay, so apparently what he's referencing here is extremism in defense of liberty is no vice. So he's saying extremism in the cause of sanity is no vice. So he's kind of like twisting it around a little bit. And apparently it's a Barry Goldwater quote. I think your pronunciation is actually a lot closer to how he would have pronounced it. Gotcha. Modern English pronunciation is rather bastardized. Maybe we can have a Lost Room watch party series. I mean, I'd have to see if it's in the open domain, but I don't see why not. Alright, let's do this. Diogenes. It's either Diogenes or Diogenes. One of the two. Hey, Zachary, what's going on? Evening. Hope you're doing good. All right. So, we dilly-dallied long enough. Let's get going. I mean, hold on. What's the guy's name? Crap. Let me look this up quick. I completely forgot. Oh, you want to know what Diogenes the Eccentric? Let me see. What was his actual title? I apologize. I'm kind of getting distracted. Squirrel. I think he was like referred to as Diogenes the Cynic or something. Anyways, but you want to know what he reminds me of? Because he was kindly a guy that would just run around and do the most inane things in order to like bring people's attention to the absurdity of stuff going on. He very much sounds like Vermin Supreme. If you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. But he's a current... At least the last time I checked on him, he's still running around. But Diogenes just sounds like Vermin Supreme. In terms of his cultural context. Give me a second. Path next to the safe haven. Sorry, there's a sign here, and I'm trying not to miss it. Where are you? I hear something, but... No, I don't want to use that. Fuck! No, I was hitting the dodge button, you freaking lying bastard. Yeah, Vermin Supreme was famous for saying the biggest problem that faces our country is gingivitis, and that he would, if he was voted into office, he'd give everyone free ponies. And then, like 2 decades later, he admitted that he lied about the free ponies because, you know, if they promise you something, if they get elected, they're never gonna give it to you. So he was always lying about the free ponies. There we go. There's the Cauldron Lake sign. Alright, Cauldron Lake, the 8th deepest lake in the world. Cauldron Lake is a caldera lake formed in a volcanic crater. The volcano itself could be considered to be active, but has not erupted since the volcanic earthquakes of 1970, and even then the underground activity was comparably mild. Despite some property damage, there were no casualties. Cauldron Lake is one of the most beautiful spots in the Bright Falls area, as well as a central figure in many local folk tales. It's a popular recreational area for the residents. Was ginger? You thought the biggest problem facing our country was gingers? Well, I guess I'm one of the biggest problems facing our country as the resident ginger here. Which game is the best combat, Alan Wake or Control? I mean, Control obviously has better combat. Let's just be 100% honest. But I would say Alan Wake 1 has better combat than Alan Wake 2. Yes. I mean, yes, Zachary, I'm a ginger. I mean, my hair was a lot redder when I was younger. And it's kind of got more, like, dirty blonde as I got older. But depending on the day... It depends on the day. Sometimes it's redder than other times. It depends on the light. Am I just missing entirely? You know what? Screw this! Go away, you jerk. You know what? Get rid of you. God, I am just... I hit the dodge button. I am doing so terribly right now. Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, because my mom's side of the family, they're very Scottish, so we got a lot of redheads. My dad's technically French-Irish, but he has, like, jet black raven hair. Say even though my grandfather was a redhead, but my dad had black hair. It's just a genetic throwback. It was really weird. Okay, so there is a thermos around here. I'm trying to find it. I forgot where... Oh, there it is. Literally right there. Okay. Boom. No. Okay. Page 130. There we go. I found the thermos on the flat rock jutting out just left of the rope bridge. Then it happened. I can't explain it. In fact, it might be a hallucination. But I'd looked down at my hands and I could see through them to the ground. It literally happened for a split second, and I was back. No one knows about this. Nobody ever will. Bro went see-through for a moment. Hello there. They give us so much flare gun ammo in this area. I really appreciate it. Almost got a retcon from existence. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I mean, it's normal to go transparent for a little bit, as one does. You're increasing your weapon proficiency, correct? I've planted a bright spark inside the cache close to the rock wall, just after the bridge. To be quick is to be devastating. I'm so fast that last night I turned off the light switch in my hotel room and was in bed before the room was dark. Muhammad Ali. The FBI coffee guy's been your favorite side character in all this so far. I mean, like, no joke, when I was going through the survival guide, he was probably the most interesting aspect of it. Personally. Wait, Cauldron Lake is known to be the 8th deepest lake in the world. That means that water only occasionally opens to the portal to the dark place. Well, we do know there are other locations on Earth that have openings into the dark place. It's heavily implied that there's some oil derricks in the middle of the Arizona desert that also act as a portal to the dark place. And possibly more than that, but that's the ones off the top of my head.
Maud had checked all of Stucky's rental cabins. There had been no sign of the wakes. It was dark when he'd found their car parked at the end of the road by Cauldron Lake. It made no sense. They must have taken a wrong turn, but there was no sign of them, and the car had been there for hours already. Frustrated, Mott stood on the rotten ruin of the footbridge that had once led to Diver's Isle before it sank beneath the waves years ago. The boss wouldn't be happy.
No, Vest. Alan did not wedge open the oil derricks. For those who haven't played American Nightmare, this is going to sound completely out of left field. But no, the oil derricks, Alan literally caused a meteor to strike a satellite in orbit so it crash landed on top of the oil derricks to shut the hole to the dark place. True story. And how did he accomplish this? By playing a song by Kasabian. He played some rock music on a boombox, and it caused a satellite to crash. True story. Yeah, no, it's not the real world because it's in Night Springs. This is taking place in Night Springs, but it's also existing kind of overlapped with something that's happening in the desert of Arizona. Alrighties. So this area is actually pretty interesting. This is called the Mountain Manor. Tom, Cynthia Weaver, and Thomas Zane. You talked to me on TV. Tom. I miss you, Tom. Did you write this? I curse you, Thomas Zane. Tom. So this building is actually originally owned by Cynthia Weaver's grandfather. And there is some very interesting history to this place, which I find absolutely fascinating. Especially if you're a fan of Garth Marenghi. And yes, I watched that entire show, so you guys don't have to. Alrighty, so let's pause real quick and switch over to another article that happens to be in reference to this. Why did you write this? Who wrote that one? Who is she asking? Honestly, I could not tell you. I could not tell you. Because I frankly don't know. But let's go ahead and switch over. Alright, so this is going to be on article in the Bright Falls Record on page 129. Zoe, and you decide just now to sit up so I can't see anything. Zoe. Oh my gosh. Alright. This is written by Leland Brennan. So this is, he's written a few articles that we've read so far. He seems to be, a current. Or at least within, the last decade or so, who's working at the Bright Falls Record. One hospitalized, all shaken as ghost hunters flee the ruins. Up until 2 nights ago, the old Mountain Manor ruins on top of the southern cliffs of Cauldron Lake was best known for its ominous presence above Highway 91 and its brief appearance on strange cult television series Night Springs. So yes, they filmed an episode of Night Springs here in the Mountain Manor. But now the ruins are the scene of a shocking accident. Late Tuesday, the Bright Falls Council of Elders agreed to let filming occur at the ruins. First of all, there's a Council of Elders, which I'd love to know who's sitting on that council. Despite protests from Sheriff Sarah Breaker, so this tells us this was relatively recently, because Sarah is the sheriff at the time. So the elders allowed this to film against the sheriff's protests after coming to a monetary agreement from a foreign television company, YEL, to film an episode of the popular paranormal reality show Ivamainen Tutkiminen. Hopefully I'm saying that right, I'm probably not. Roughly translates to ghostly investigations. According to YEL spokesperson Petri Järveletto, so this is one of the founders of Remedy. Petri Järveletto. Episode 4? I don't know which episode. I'd have to do some... Which ones were filmed inside of a house like this? Because we had episode 1's Quantum Suicide, 2 is The Man in the Mirror, 3... You hope Lorna Miles is not on the council. I'd have to look back through the Night Springs episode to verify. Alright, sorry. The production was plagued with difficulties, according to the spokesperson Petri Arveleto. We have some equipment lost over the side of the precipice, you know, and problems with shadows during filming. A lot of electrical failures and such. It was a fraught time. The situation took a turn for the worse when the co-host, Stig Bosvik, sustained a sprained wrist and 2 broken ribs after falling backwards from the second-floor balcony. Now, Stig Bosvik is the composer for Garth Marenghi. So if anyone wants to watch it, it's all on YouTube, and you have been warned. And I still need to read those books. And the TV show is literally called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. I've released a video on it if you don't want to watch it, but if you want to watch it, have fun. So Bosvik, through an interpreter, claimed he was pushed by a dark, cloudy force, and also claimed that odd shadows were captured by the camera crew during their night up on the ruins. Unfortunately, the actual fall wasn't filmed, and the television company responsible refuses to allow any footage to be seen. Bosvik was released from Gunderson Memorial Hospital, which again, Amos Gunderson is one of the 2 founders. Memorial Hospital this morning, and is expected to make a full recovery. All production crew have left for Espoo, Finland. And we know it's in Espoo, Finland. Built in 1910 at tremendous cost, both monetary and mentally, to its owners Bartholomew Weaver, again that's Cynthia's grandfather, the ruins bankrupted the noted industrialist and has lain in situ. In situ? I think something got cut off there. For decades. A restoration project was started in 1970 but halted due to a lack of funds and the building's precarious position. So again, this happened in 1970. I don't know what time during 1970 this happened. But it seems like they started to do this, and then they halted in the same year that the explosion occurred at the lake. But remember, there's also something we read earlier where as soon as the... Cat? Why are you scratching that? As soon as the volcanic eruption occurred, Cynthia had like a series of really bad things happen in her life. Like a series of stuff. What is an Espoo? Yeah, that's where the remedy offices are located at. In situ is Latin for in place. Oh, okay. You know, thank you. I did not know that. I appreciate it. So the question really comes down to, was it the filming of the Night Springs episode in the manor that caused the spirits to be there? Or was it already there, and that's why they decided to film there, and that's what caused the situation with the Finnish television production? But yeah, so weirdly enough, this YEL from In-Game Universe happens to be situated back in the same location that Remedy is. And their spokesperson happens to be one of the creators, one of the original members of Remedy. But anyways, yeah, so that's where we're hanging out right now. And that's this whole thing. So most likely that's where Stig Bosvik was thrown off the side, was right here. Let's have some fun. Come on, boys. Just use all the ammo because I really don't care. We're near the end anyways. Hiya! Yeah, I'm gonna say this is probably where Stig Boswick fell. Okay, we got some more thermos lore. It's gonna be the last one of the episode, unfortunately. Alright, so this is gonna be on page 131. I finished the hike by the historic ruin. The thermos was by the gate in what I think was a back garden. Now it's an overgrown graveyard for pieces of masonry and stunted plants. I'll head back to the Majestic now. I told Coop about the vision thing, told him I'd better not be going mad. He told me, "You're not going anywhere." What's up with Coop? Don't worry, you're not going anywhere. Nani? Like I said, I think the Thermos guy is probably the most interesting thing that happened in the survival guide.
I could see Cauldron Lake. I thought I could make out the spot where the island and the cabin had been. There was a light near it. It had to be a boat. I was close now. I had to get there fast. I dreaded what I would find. I tried to hold on to Alice, but her form melted away. I was losing control. Dr. Hartman stood in her place. I wanted to hit him, but my arms were jelly. He smiled. It was a reassuring smile, and I hated him for it. I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period. Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now.
Thank you, Hartman. You have such a punchable face. Oh wait, I already broke your nose once. I'll do it again. What's my favorite classic horror movie? I mean, I watch the entire Elm Street franchise at least once a year. I mean, you guys know my tastes in fiction enough by now to know why I love the Elm Street saga.
Hey, are you? Wait. Hey, I'm here. I'm coming. No, get away. Sorry, please, lady. The boss didn't know who he was messing with. I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know. We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is. She's probably drowned. We just said we had her to make a play ball. You see? To get him writing for us. Please. Please, oh. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me. Ah!
I just saw your note, Hypnosil Addict. Dude, that's awesome. That's a great handle. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-da-dum.
What a wretched
And this is Up Jump the Devil again.
on the day that my poor mama died. I was
Boom, boom, boom.
with a Stanley knife. My daddy did a jig with a drunk midwife. Who's that?
So yeah, that's the same song that played right after the second logging camp on Pat Main's show. And it basically just follows the story of a guy who felt like his entire life has been cursed from birth into the grave. Is this supposed to be a leitmotif for Mott, Hartman, or, I mean, it's up for interpretation. It could be more the idea of you have your dark, you've been marked by the devil, essentially, is what the tune's about. Oh, boy, the fall of Alan Wake. Yeah, no crap. It's actually kind of crazy. I love how they use a Black Angel song in this game. Game music rocks. I mean, they did such a good job with their music for this, which is why I find it frustrating that the remastered version, they changed the ending song from Space Oddity. I mean, Space Oddity was perfect. Why did they have to change it? Probably for legal reasons, but besides the point. But yeah, I absolutely love the Elm Street franchise, just because I love Dream Logic. Dream Logic is just so much fun to explore. That's why I like Psychonauts. I love this franchise. It's just a lot of my taste just really comes down to that. But that's really about it for today. And we are going to start bright and early with some a Kook House. Next time we're here, and we're going to be at Hartman's Lodge. So 5 episodes in, and we're officially probably a little over halfway through the game. A little over halfway through the game, in my opinion. Because we still got the DLCs too, but those are pretty short. And they don't have anywhere near as... Like, we're not going to be doing this kind of stop and start thing, where we're going back and forth between the supplementary material, because there is no supplementary material for the DLCs. Unfortunately. So it's really going to be just play the game and have fun with it. Anyways, all, you take it easy. You have a good weekend. Love you all, and I'll see you on Monday afternoon for the next round. Take it easy.